How's it going? Welcome back everybody and welcome to this stream. We're here in Las Vegas, brand new from FlyTampa. We're sat here in front of the Bellagio, checking out all we can see. I do hope you guys are keeping well. We're kind of just going to do a live first looks thing, I suppose. Nothing too fancy. But I was super pumped to see the scenery get announced a good few months ago, and we finally have it here on X-Plane. So with that said, we're going to do a quick fly around, look around, and kind of experience everything Las Vegas has to offer. This scenery is massive. It's 2 gigs of a download. It's currently available on the xplane.org store. You pick it up there for $32. You could be on the fence, you could argue, Murph, we're very close to Microsoft Flight Sim. Is there any point? Well, I strongly believe rather. I don't see X-Plane going anywhere anytime soon. It can only kind of get better from where we are, right? So, with that said, as I kind of shake my mic here and cause all sorts of hardship, look at this place. It's absolutely stunning. Now, it's heavy on frames, don't get me wrong. It's I have a beefy system and it's roaring here beside me. Make it stop, make it stop. But it seems to be running acceptably well. So it covers McCarran International Airport in a lot of detail. It has Nellis Air Force Base up to the north. That's just using standard X-Plane scenery. It comes with its own ortho and overlays. It has a ton of ground traffic routes, everything from the monorail, all the cars you see moving around, the lights on top of the pyramid just down here, and all these signs and billboards. There's tons of them. We'll be here until tomorrow figuring them all out. Everyone from Celine Dion to Elton John to Madonna and the Blue Man Group and David Copperfield, and you name it, they have it. Good evening, Kenneth Fitzpatrick. Thanks for joining us, dude. Your question is, will helicopters from FSX work on Flight Sim 2020? At the moment, no. Will they be able to be ported over in the future? More than likely, yes. There's no known helicopters being released in Flight Sim 2020 as of yet, but we are aware that they're going to be consistently and constantly updating that sim as they move it forward, and they have content releases due to hit after the release on August 18th, so that's going to be interesting, no doubt. So that's kind of one thing I'm a little bit kind of jazzed on. They don't have the they don't have choppers, which is a bit of a pity. But for everything else the sim is offering, we can probably hold fire on choppers for a couple of weeks. Plus, you always have X-Plane. So we're just getting our bearings here. We can see the airport up here on our left-hand side as we're coming down the main strip. We have the pyramid with the Sphinx and that amazing light shooting up to the stars there. So we'll get ourselves right in front of it. Luxor, or Luxor, how do we pronounce that one? We'll figure it out now in a sec. Alrighty, so let's see abrupt camera angles to get ourselves checking stuff out here. There's that monorail I was talking about. Pretty cool, huh? This is definitely a city I want to visit, and I know they've had a couple of Flight Sim cons and other bits and bobs over in Vegas. So yeah, it's somewhere that we all at some stage have to go. Kenneth is from Ireland. Cade Mila Falcha, you're very welcome. The Paddies are taking over the Flight Sim. this evening, right here, right now. But yeah, so Las Vegas in X-Plane. As I said, it's a fairly decent sized download. It is a resource Hunga. I'm down at 25 frames per second and I'm running at 5 gigahertz on a processor. I have an RTX 2080 Ti and I have 64 gigs of RAM. So it's a monster. But then again, it did only drop tonight. Who's to say we won't get a couple of updates? And the caveat to all of this is I'm running X-Plane Vulkan on the beta 13. So your mileage may vary from mine. So the aircraft we've chosen to fly around, I was going to use a chopper. I was on Twitch earlier on, I used a chopper. But we're just going to use the BN Islander from Bitten Norman. The one from Torque Sim, because it just happens to be that little bit light on frames. And it's low and slow. That, I have to say, the graphics work here with that light. It's beautiful, like you can see through it, it's transparent. It kills the frames, but it's absolutely beautiful. So in terms of a system that you'd want to run, as we change our music, in terms of system-wise, what you want to be able to have to run Microsoft Flight Simulator, it varies. The minimum specs are posted on the website, and anything you would have now, like you know, this thing will run easily on an i5 processor. Graphics cards, you know, it should be working fine on the 970s. That's the minimum, I think, right up to the 1060s, 1070s, 1080s. If you're on the AMD platform, anything from, I think, a Ryzen upwards. So its compatibility, it's huge, and it's going to be highly optimized. Like, it's designed to run on the Xbox as well, and that's the Xbox One. That's not even the new next-gen Xbox. So spec-wise, you should be fairly safe. We have a Discord running as well, Ken. So what I'll do, I will put the link here in the chat, and if you want to join our Discord, you can put your specs and details and bits and bobs up, and we can chat on that. So let's jump down to our little airplane here, and here we are. So this is McCarran Airport. And the history with McCarran, it opened kind of in the late 40s. It's named after Pat McCarran, who did an awful lot for aviation in Las Vegas. The airport itself, Las Vegas, it's one of the biggest tourist destinations in the US. They launch anything from scenic fixed plane flights to heli flights. The airport itself is quite busy, not to mention the sheer amount of corporate aircraft you have. So this airport in X-Plane is quite good. Like, you can do a nice flight from LAX or even San Francisco and tip across over to Las Vegas, and it'll take anywhere between kind of an hour to an hour and 30 minutes. It's a nice flight, and you get to fly over the is it the Sonora? I was going to say Sonora. There's a mountain range anyway, and it's always bumpy as hell up there. So our frames will stutter here, guys. There's not much we can do about it, so grin and bear it, and wait till we get airborne, and hopefully things will go a little bit better. Or that's what we hope for. So we got some lights on here. Landing lights can stay off for the moment. Get our controls set up here. Okay, so battery's running. We need to go to ground supply. Fuel tanks are on, so we can go ahead and turn on our fuel pump. Mags on the right. Let's go for a start. We got a good start on our left engine. Go ahead, kill the pumps. Fuel pump coming on now for the right hand side. Mags turned on. Starter engaged. And there's a good start on our left engine. So all engines running. Fuel pump come off again. Jump back down here for the lights. Sorry for the lag, guys, but I'm sure once we get airborne we're going to be just tickety boo. So get some lights going here, because it's fairly dark. Cool. Now, I've lights up here, I think, haven't I? T. There's a torch. See how we did that? We just pressed T and we got ourselves a torch. And there we go. There's lights. Awesomeness. Alright. Okay, so we're going to try and taxi this thing, and hopefully the frames will keep up with us. Sean Dempsey, the Sierra Nevada, I believe. Sonora's the Desert GTA. It looks the same, right? Sierra Nevada. You see, there's always someone smarter in the chat. We have a gen light working, or not working, it would appear. Let's see. What's the story here, Chief? Cabin lights, lights are all okay. Cockpit lights, battery, right gen, left gen. So we have a generator. Is that to do with the RPM? Yes, it is. See that? We figured it out already. We'll go far, lads. We'll go far. God, it's like flying FSX. Right, we'll get ourselves taxied out here, and let's see what we can see. I'm afraid to even turn on the frames. Ugh. 20 frames, guys. How does it look and sound, though? Like, it's kind of like Minecraft here at the minute. Now, I think once we turn away from Vegas behind us, the frames would jump back up to something a little bit more acceptable. So we're over at Signature here, over at the FBO, which is modelled, which is fantastic, because in X-Plane, with all the corporate jets we have, anywhere from the Coronados to the Challengers to the Legacy, or is it the Legacy? Yeah, it is the Legacy, the Embraer ones from X-Crafts. Even the TBMs, it's always great to see FBOs when they're modelled, because it just adds to that little level of immersion, which is our favourite buzzword. Okay, I know we're flying at night time. We will go to daytime shortly, but it's all the lights we want to take in here. The glitz and the glamour. I better not do that again, because it's not too bad over here, look. Yeah, that's better. Anyway, as we're looking for some sort of a taxi location, which I believe I'm on the taxiway now. Yes, I am. So yeah, it's a little bit of a resource monster, this one, but it's the first release. I would expect some sort of a patch, or X-Plane itself, once it comes out of beta and we get a release candidate, it should work a little bit better. So we'll just kind of meander over this neck of the woods, find a runway. We've no traffic to worry about. So there's a runway up here, look. We're going to go with 19 right, and that's what we're going to do, and let this machine here give it socks, and we'll blast on out. Okay, coming onto runway here, 19 right. Make sure set to full, don't need flaps on takeoff. Start adding in a bit of power here. Okay, power set to full, airspeed is alive. Give ourselves a bit of rudder coming down the runway here now. Frames are trying to do their best to do a something, but we'll do our best to hang on to it. Coming up on 80 knots, we're going to be able to rotate at this. Lag isn't very noticeable, that's good to hear. We're wheels up. Cockney John is here. Good evening, John. I hope you're keeping well. Thanks for joining us. We're checking out the new FlyTampa Las Vegas scenery. And I think once we get airborne, everything's just going to calm itself down, and we won't have the jittery frames we used to get back in the FSX days. It's a mega detailed scenery. The LOD, or LOD, loading distance, is phenomenal. We can see a good few miles out. There's the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino just down here. And everything appears to be, I won't say licensed, but it has the actual name. So like it doesn't have, you know, the Trump Tower or, you know, the Mirage. It has the Trump Tower and the Mirage, so that's always cool to see. So we've no landing gear to worry about. I am tapping the brakes though, just out of habit I suppose. It's fixed landing gear on this aircraft. So our plan is we're going to fly along parallel here to the strip, gain a bit of altitude, do a U-ey, fly back over and check everything out as best we can see. We'll change the different times of day here as well. So with the scenery, that's Nellis in front of us I think. With the scenery it does come with auto tiles. They can go over your own, or if you have your own, you have to kind of read up in the FlyTampa manual how to convert your ortho to fit to the scenery. And it has its own custom mesh. So when you install it, or if you're thinking of picking it up and you install it, just pretty much leave it the way it installs itself. If you go ahead moving any of your files around in the scenery INI, you're going to break it. So you're as best leave it alone. It's quite fine the way it is. If you have what's it called, X-Organizer, you can certainly have a go at the removing some of the ground traffic, which for me, when I turned off the ground traffic, now by doing so you lose a couple of, like, none of the fountains work, the light that comes out of the pyramid doesn't work, but you do get about a 15-ish FPS increase, which is notably different. So yeah, John, so it's $32. It's available on the xplane.org store, and you can pick it up from FlyTampa themselves directly. So what's that? It works out about €26, or 26 pounds, or about €28. So it's not bad. And like, to be fair to FlyTampa, any scenery they've done, I rate them extremely well. Like, FlyTampa have amazing sceneries from Heracline to Copenhagen. You know, they modelled something, it was a Crete I think they did. They've phenomenal scenery. So much work has gone into this, right down to the individual houses, any of the industrial areas, all the way down to the parked aircraft. The static aircraft that you see, they're modelled from FlyTampa, because when you're looking at them, the PBR, you'd swear like you're, oh, this is the Zebo mod, I'm going to go flying in that. They look super real. So all of these things pay a bit of a price, but your mileage will vary. I have my settings turned up to the max, with one caveat. I have, let me see, so I have my reflections turned down because we're nowhere near the sea, and anti-aliasing is sitting there on 4 times SSA and FXAA. So you would easily get away with this with your world objects turned right down to medium. You're still going to get all the landmarks. You might get the lot distance, but again, that shouldn't make much of a difference. Ah, Corfu, that's the one. Yeah, Corfu is fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. So I do like the FlyTampa stuff. Oh yeah, and check out my lighting behind me. I've ordered these spill lights. I don't know what they do to the stream, but they add to it. It makes the plane go faster. Or I talk less or talk more. We'll figure it out as we go. Now, it won't be a very long stream tonight, guys. This is pretty much just a jump in and see how the scenery looks. We're back to our normal service tomorrow. We'll probably do a bit more here tomorrow. Like, again, I've said it already, but you could be on the fence saying, oh, you know, we're less than a month away from Microsoft Flight Sim. Do you really want to start throwing in $20 or $30 or $40 into X-Plane? But I confidently think X-Plane isn't going anywhere for the foreseeable, and even with what we get out of Microsoft Flight Sim, you're still going to come back to X-Plane. I am anyway. Number one for the choppers. 2, you know, you have your VATSIM events and your online flying. So I think X-Plane will be here for another little while yet. And we have the SR22 due to release tomorrow or Saturday from TorqueSim, and that's part of the Take Command fleet. I'm expecting great things from that little plane. Excuse me. But yeah, so we're facing now back towards the main strip. That lighting effect from the pyramid is absolutely amazing looking. as we jump outside here of our plane. And if we were to zoom out as far as the eye will take us, that light goes up to like 15,000-20,000 feet. Now I know we're a little bit high, but we're going to keep to the right hand side of the strip so we can look down here on the left hand side. We started off with the opening shot down at the Bellagio, and we have the fountains all moving around to some music and stuff, which is quite nice. Aviation MSFS, we'll just call it Flight Sim. Flight Sim 2020 just announced 10 minutes ago the partnership with VATSIM. Very interesting. You've heard it here second, guys. After Aviation, or Aviation, see what happens when you stream on the days you don't usually stream. Aviation, thanks so much for that information though. That is interesting. So they're going to partner with VATSIM, which means that kind of makes my previous point redundant. Therefore, immediately get rid of your X-plane. Nah, you don't need to do that, guys. They still haven't got choppers. Now. And will VATSIM be working for the first couple of weeks? Maybe, maybe not. One thing I am kind of fascinated on, because I pay a yearly subscription to Navigraph, and it's like it's 10 or 12 quid a month. And as far as I know, the AirArc is going to be free with Microsoft. You weigh the two of them things up together, you're suddenly saving 100 and odd euros a year. Kind of leans you very much in one direction, I think. So we have the beautiful, there we go, stupid wheel view. There we go, we'll look out the window. Keep them both. VFR fitting on 202, all the rest on X-Plane 11. I think so. The tube liner stuff may be on X-Plane 11 for a while. But there are some interesting things with Flight Sim 2020. It's designed to reach such a bigger audience. Like when you think about it, the amount of people who have access to Xbox Live, who wouldn't have big beefy PCs and are into all their flight sim add-ons and their peripherals and all this kind of stuff, it's only going to do good for the sim, because once that market opens up, well, it's going to draw more attention in. People are going to want more add-ons, they're going to want more hardware. So these are really exciting times for anyone interested in flight sim. And even if you're not, you're going to see this thing. Most people are going to pick up that game or sim, whatever way we want to call it. It's a sim with with entertainment purposes, I suppose. But everyone's going to try and fly over the house. I'm thinking we should have more fitting music. What do you think? I want to kind of play some of this stuff. This could be horrendous now, so bear with me, right? Where's the button for this? That's loud. Yeah. It's kind of Las Vegas. This is probably better. Watch our banking speed here. I was looking for, like, you know, yeah, I'm feeling that. Everyone is going to try fly over the house. Sums up non-simmers buying flight sim in one sentence. It pretty much does, Sean. Yeah, like, I mean, you know, what use do you guys get out of your flight sim? You know, for me, it's helped me with a little bit of my real world flying adventures, for which I have a couple of hours. Certainly for geography it helps hugely, and I have a keen interest in aviation and pretty much anything to do with simulation. You know, it's very easy just to hop on a plane and not follow any procedures and just rip around the sky for a couple of minutes. That's all cool, but for the multi-loading that you can do, for the multitasking you can do, your simulator gives you that. You know, so if you're trying to control your radios, your navigation, your procedures, your altitude, all of these things are hitting you, your bearing, your heading, your fuel. That's where the multi-loading works, and that's very close to what I've experienced in a real plane. It's you know, your first flight, your initial, oh crap, I'm flying a plane, and you have to force yourself to say, well, allow the plane fly. You know, I keep punching this. I have a new microphone thingy here, and I'm not used to it. I have it long enough, I'm still not used to it. Anyway, I digress. And said with such elegance. Yes, the king of waffle has returned. As we're in Vegas, we're here till Tuesday. That does look impressive though, guys, doesn't it? Like, I can absolutely tell you, this scenery is excellent, and I've seen the other scenery on the other thing that we won't mention, and I can tell you this is excellent. Might not be getting the performance we want, but it's excellent. There's just something about flying over Vegas at night time. So we're going to change the daytime here, just to give you a comparison. Yeah, it still looks fine enough, but like, it's no nighttime. There is Trump Tower. A whole load of building going on here as well. Massive golf course. Beautiful reflections coming off the buildings. The shadows are having a bit of crack with us, alright, the ground scenery shadows, but we'll get over that. Plenty of golf courses, resorts, Westgate. I mean, look at the detail, it is stunning. The last decent scenery I've seen for Las Vegas was over on DCS. VR, yeah, that's the thing. Like, VR is not on the cards immediately with Microsoft Flight Sim. It's here in X-Plane already. So I would love to try Vegas here in VR. I'd say that is a sight to behold. And the gas thing is, like, FlyTampa have released the airport. The airport is actually what they've worked on, but they've included the entire city, including all the landmarks. I'm just spending time flying over the landmarks because I'm so impressed with them. Like, they're absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal. And phenomenal. Our wonderful fountains below at the Bellagio during the day. Just across from the Eiffel Tower. At the Venetian back up the road here as well. While you're outside flying, Murphy, don't make yourself famous for the wrong reasons. Our traffic down there looks fantastic. The T-Mobile Arena. Is that where Head the Ball was fighting? Head the Ball. You know your man. McGregor. David Copperfield. So we have 4 runways here at McCarran. You actually get a fairly comprehensive manual with the scenery as well. It gives you a bit of history. It goes through all the details regarding the runway. It gives you the installation guide and also the settings guide. So there's two main terminals, Terminal 1 and Terminal 3, and they all have different concourses with them as well. So one thing with FlyTampa scenery, at this altitude it can look a little bit bare. However, if you zoom in and zoom in and zoom in, you'll see all the jetways and ground traffic appear. It's a nifty little trick that they have figured out how to do it really well. Well, when I say it's a nifty trick, Laminar have it. But all the billboards, look. So there's a prize for someone who can read them all and write them down somewhere. Good evening to you. Is that changes to the streaming setup I see? Hamas, it absolutely is. You're very welcome to the channel this evening. I hope you're keeping well. I hope your video production is keeping well. Hope you haven't spent another 13 hours working on a video, and if you have, I don't even have to worry if it's going to be good now. I just know it's going to be good. So yeah, I've tried to glitz out all me stream stuff here. So we have a new logo, we've new Fandangle overlays, and I have these new lights, which are cool, and they come with remote controls. Look, I get 2 of these, and they're not as simple as just press the button that you want to colour with. So yeah, so we're going for the aesthetics. Make the stream look good, and people will think, hey, that stream is good. That's the thinking behind it, guys. Whether or not it works now is, I don't know. So I was saying in Discord earlier on, what's our plan for the 18th, guys? Are we literally just going to download this puppy and then stream it forevermore? I think that's what I'm going to do. I just feel an all-nighter coming on, you know? It's just, yeah, let's do an all-night stream. And we will stream that thing to death. Figure out all the controls, how we're going to get our viewpoints, how we're going to set up the aircraft, what are the best settings to use. I want all that to happen on the day 1 release. And if it's absolutely disastrous, as in it breaks and we can't fly it, we've plenty of stuff to keep us going in X-Plane. It's looking awesome, loving it. Thanks so much, dude. Lighting is everything. Lighting really is everything. Lighting absolutely is everything. So I've been struggling like for ages. The sound of new microphones. I have a big Yamaha MG10 XU mixer gadget thing. Actually, I must. Do you know what? Because I have Twitter as well for my sadness. I shall take a photograph, and we'll put that up on Twitter. And I'll take another photograph of what's behind me and put that on Twitter. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, lads, and you'll see them pictures later on. So as we can see, as I said, this scenery comes with its own ortho tiles. If I zoom, you can see the break line there on the horizon with these brown mountains, as opposed to these like brown mountains. It's kind of holding up well though, isn't it? The flight level, welcome to the channel. Catching you live again. Good looking flight seat. Thank you very much. It is the Arotsi. I've 2 of them. I call it the beta one. It's the one that it was the load bearing chair for years, and I said to myself, I'll get another one. So you can pick these up online. I think they're a Spanish company. You get them for about €200, I think. And I've no affiliation with them whatsoever. I don't even know where I found them before. I think I just googled in seats, and yeah. Everything sounds excellent and looks superb. Thank you very much. That's sound advice, and it's always good to get that feedback because I strive for decent visuals and sounds. What's going on with that building? That's weird. Is that even normal? Interesting. Very interesting. The scenery looks superb. Let's hope FlyTampa wants a trailer. Even if they don't, we owe it to ourselves to make a scenery for this place. I'm well impressed with it. It's one of the finest I've come across. And I'm even going to compare this to DCS. Like if we bring the lights down low here, that light just goes off into oblivion. Like, it's absolutely stunning scenery here, guys. How's the music? Is it too loud or not loud enough? This music is brought to us by epidemicsound.com. You can register with them, pay them a monthly fee, and you can have licensed music on your channel because, well, you own it. That was the alien infiltration. You've seen it here. That's what happened. Hampus, I think like the video theme for this has to be kind of like an Ocean's 13 kind of a feel to it. It's got to show corporate jets and choppers and fast paced, I think. Now, whether or not we have the time to do it, but that's kind of the inspiration, you know? Just don't spend 13 hours on it, man. Just record a couple of flights, throw them together and see what happens. There's a Konami building down there. Konami. What do they do? Were they like the guys behind Resident Evil? No? Maybe? So as we come back over, you can see the ground a little bit jittery. Look at the reflections on the runway over here, guys. Look. Beautiful stuff. FlyTampa and their lighting and how they make the reflections. It's always been amazing. We got the first taste of that in Corfu. Yikes. What are the frames doing? Oh, we're getting 20 frames. 20 frames, guys. Oof. That is a laser light shining up in the building, and if we zoom out here, a lot. I think it goes up to like 15, 20,000 feet. Look at that. Amazing. Back to our little machine here. As dusk sets across the Las Vegas Valley and over the city. So as I was saying, the monorail is modelled. You'll see it zipping around the city. Any of you guys in the chat ever been to Vegas? I know the Flight Sim Con or the Flight Sim Expo, one of them, that's been in Vegas. And I would be absolutely all over that next year when it's on. So if you guys are interested, we can certainly do something with the channel. And I don't know if it's something we can do, book in bulk maybe, to see wherever you guys are located. Certainly out of Ireland we can have a look, and the UK, or even a connecting flight. Reading the chat here and I'll crash. It's like looking at your phone when you're driving. What have we got? What have you done today? I was working today in my normal 9 to 5 job, which is usually kind of 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning till around 5 or 6 in the evening. I work in transport. I drive a desk, but I drive it very well. Murph, I recently reused an old Corsair AO on my 1080 with the NXT adapter. It's brilliant. That's good to know. That is good to know. Did you do all that yourself, John? That's... Oh, I like this music. That involves a lot of work. The flight level says, very cool. The video looks very smooth for 20 frames per second. Excellent. It does. I will give it that. Even for 20 frames, it is behaving itself. 25 frames now. And if we bring up our frame counter, we are actually getting limited by our CPU, and our CPU is currently running at 5.2 gigahertz. My little temperature light is okay. That water cooler is doing its thing. I have the Corsair H100i, I think. Whatever that does. Good evening, Miguel. Great to see you. The music really fits, doesn't it? Oh yeah. DHP Production or Hampus says, you drive a desk. Yes, I manage, well, try to manage or assist in the management of a transport company and a logistics company. That's what I do for my 9-to-5 job. And I do like it. It's one of these jobs that you have a different challenge every day. We have a good crew of drivers. We have a good fleet of trucks. And yeah. So expect to see some sort of truck sim videos in the future as well. Not that I'm going to be very good at it. As I said, I work in the office. I don't drive the trucks. We'll leave that for our talented people. Cockney John says, yeah, it's tricky, but the results are really worth it. GPU temps in X-Plane went from 85 to 87 down to 29 degrees idle and nothing higher than 55. Fantastic work. That's amazing. John, if you can, I put the link up there to the Discord earlier on, guys. That is the Discord link for the channel, gone into the chat there. John, I would love you to share your story on how did you actually do that. We have a couple of different sections in the Discord channel. So we have obviously X-Plane. We're going to have one for Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'm going to add in a topic. Well, no, I'll leave the topics empty for the minute. Once we start putting information in, we can go through our hardware and specs and any tips that we have. We can do off the stream tips and tricks to see what we can do. And if you guys are going to be interested in the if you're going to be interested in tutorial videos, be it for building a PC or upgrading a PC, we can go through all of that. I'm sure between all the guys tuned in here tonight, we're going to figure out how to do things. The Flight Level FS 2020 just announced partnership with VATSIM. That is correct. We actually heard that on the channel here a little bit earlier on. And that news was brought to us by... told us that earlier. Avioman. He was first to break the story, but that is huge news because I was only waffling on earlier on saying, oh, we're going to say an X-Plane because, you know, there's VATSIM and there's all this kind of stuff. And like, not 2 minutes later, it was like, VATSIM's going to Flight Sim 2020. Okay. A few of my classmates are truck drivers. Wonder how aviation and trucks got mixed. Well, one thing I will say, and it's not taking anything away from the wonderful aviation pilots that we have, but in a lot of firms, the truck driver, he is the pilot of the ground moving vehicle. They have their pre-journey checks, they have to know navigation, voice procedure for deliveries, they're liable for the load if it's cargo, or if they're driving buses, they're liable for the people. Granted, they're limited in terms of, you know, there's no imminent fear of falling out of the sky or running out of fuel and like not being able to land, of course. And the entry and exit procedures in and out of each depot are vastly different. They just go through a gate and you guys have SIDS and stars and minimum altitudes and all this kind of stuff. And the weather doesn't really play much a big part in a truck. But apart from that, they're like completely the same, totally the same. There's nothing different about them. Oh, and you know, let's be stereotypical here. Truckers tend to be like beardy and you know, brawn, while pilots tend to have swag and sophistication. But that's not always the point. And in fact, a number of drivers who I know are pilots. They're GA pilots with a PPL. So I think you just have people interested in vehicles, full stop. They can drive, fly, swim, do everything. The trailer audio for the VATSIM is spectacular. I need to have a look at that. I didn't see that yet. So, as dusk turns to night... Yeah. So I think further out of town, if you go up past the strip here, I'm pointing at the screen like you guys can see it. I'll use the mouse, look. So as you come up, further up out of town, there's another kind of a casino area up here. And there's a little museum up here, and it's the Mob Museum. My father was up there 2 years ago. He went over to Vegas. And it's near the Golden Nugget, I think. Cockney John, great stream, Murph. Gotta go, take it easy. John, many thanks for joining us tonight. The Discord link is there, and we'll save this video to YouTube if you want to watch it after. There's not a whole long left. Anyway, so yeah, thanks for tuning in, dude. Take care of yourself. So this area up here, as I said, I think it's the Golden Nugget. But there's a whole load of more casinos down here. Like, Vegas is vast, it's massive. Like, a buddy of mine who was over there was like, yeah, no, he goes, you know, we went out for a few beers, and the next morning he thought the place was just like down the street. No, I know a good place, we were here last night. I said, like, he was an hour walking, and for like 20 minutes of that hour it was the same hotel as he was walking down. It's just like, what? The flight level, you know, I got you. The nighttime scene. There's Vegas during the day, which is, you know, yeah. But then Vegas at nighttime, as we pan the camera around back over that strip down there. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Now, what we are going to do, we're going to go really low and fly down the strip just to show off some of the closer details. And then our plan will be then take a hard turn to our, well, probably circle around to the right, back in for a landing at McCarran. Yeah, so these are the buildings down here, guys, look. There's like a tonnage of more casinos. You know, different hotels, casinos, pubs and clubs. And I think like that's one of the oldest parts of Vegas. I could be wrong. I think purely for research and development we must go. Permission and planning permission shall be sought. Flight level, great stuff, gotta go. You look after yourself. Thanks so much for joining us here tonight. Take it easy, and hopefully we'll catch you again soon. Right, so this is not recommended or endorsed in any way for any pilot, but we're in a sim, and I don't think we're going to upset many people. So we're going to go nice and low and slow, if we can get the speed down. And let's check out how everything looks from this alt. I don't even want to go near that frame counter. Let's just pretend, just think happy thoughts. Everything's fine. You know, the frames are fine. The Westgate. Nice. This is like Ocean's 14 right here. This is going to be in the movie. We know. Just don't crash, Murph, whatever you do. Treasure Island. The Venetian here on the left hand side. The Mirage on the right.
Terrain. Hold on.
Bit of power here, Murph. The Beatles, look. Nice. Look at the colours, guys. Absolutely beautiful. As we fly by the Bellagio with the fountains. There they are. Mind the Eiffel Tower. Don't hit it. There's the Cosmopolitan. Don't hit that. Flown like a pro. And with that, kablamo. Here's the MGM Grand here on our left hand side. That's awesome. Hooters! There's Hooters, guys. So just remember, come up the strip and turn right. That's the owl place. That's where you can buy owls. Yep. Hooters is where you buy owls. Low approach downtown Vegas is a bucket list thing, but don't think it'll be approved. No, I don't. However, in saying that, you can get the heli flights or the Vegas chopper tours, and they bring you fairly low. So we're going to pick up a shot of altitude here. We're going to do a low and slow climb to our right, fully circle around, and going to get our feet back on solid ground. Yeah, I think we hit the nail on the head of the music tonight. The runway lights way off in the distance. That's I think that's Nellis Air Force Base. Okay, little bit of conversation. Little bit of conversation. Concentration. A little less conversation. You know what I tried to do there. It didn't work. I'd love to do a Vegas chopper tour. Think it'd be more exciting than the Dubai one. Have you done the Dubai one? So, quick check here. We want to bring our speed down a smidgen. Watch our altitude because we're over 4,000 feet here. Just get me bearings here. So we should be able to just do a hard-ish turn to the right. Watch our speed. Get our nose down. Not too much. Your ears will pop. That's beautiful scenery. Look out there, like. Absolutely fantastic. There's the runway. 3,500 feet. Don't forget though, we are in the desert, so we're landing at a bit of a altitude. So I don't know how good, bad or indifferent this landing is going to be, but we'll give it a shot even with our bit of lag here. No, never, but in terms of what you'd see, I think the money is more worth it Vegas. I think so. And they're going to have the Flight Sim Expo in Vegas next year. And I just think, guys, that's something we should be aiming for. If we can. I'm going to definitely try and go anyway. So even if it's a case, if you guys can't, I'll bring my plethora of cameras and stuff and just do a full vlog of the travel, getting over there maybe. And then the exhibition itself. And it'd be great to meet up with some of the well-known and established streamers that we have in this fantastic community, and tell them that we say hi. So, prop mixture goes to full. Mixture is set to full. We're just going to ease our way in here at around 80 knots. We have 3 lights red on the Pappy, but we'll hold our altitude for a bit, and hopefully that'll all do what it's doing. Imagine landing here, like, for real. At least the runways are good and long. We're going into this with no flaps, but I don't think we need them. Famous last words. Descent is looking good. Watch our speed now as we go for the flare. And as we start to flare, throttle to idle. Just let it bleed it off for a little bit. And there's contact. Oh, Julia. It's amazing what a tiny bit of lag does to your controls. But we're okay. Manual braking. That music got a bit, No, never been. That'd be pretty cool to see. Will we be seeing you skydiving? You know, I have a funny story. I have a picture here somewhere. There's a picture over by yonder. You can't see it. I'll grab it for you now in a sec. As we get off the runway here. Aer Lingus was considering Vegas before Corona and visited my school, but probably within the next 5 or so years. Yeah, I know someone in Aer Lingus and they were talking about Vegas because when they opened up LA the last time they were saying we got to do Vegas. I think that the thing for them, they were able to fly there relatively cheap, so they're actually targeting a lot of UK passengers to do this, flying out of Dublin. And the landing fees in McCarran are like, they're very dear, very, very dear, because there's such demand to fly here. And even in this scenery, you can see like Southwest, I know they're domestic for the US. Although in saying that, there is a Shamrock. They've already made it, lads. We're late. And I don't know what that is supposed to be. It looks like a 320. Okay. Whatever. So we're going to park over here by the big boys, only because, well, it's kind of late. Don't hit the runway light. We'll get up here beside this this Shamrock, shall we? The Aer Lingus. It looks like an A320. I don't think they'd have the legs to get over here. You never know, though. We could have went back over to Signature, but we're just going to abandon ship here now in a sec. Okay, we'll sit tight here with the brakes on. Let me see. Bear with me for a moment. So I'm back to you. So my funny story, right? If you're still here, let's jump onto this camera and go into here so I can see what's going on. So the funny story, guys, about Murphy parachuting. Murphy has parachuted before. Hang on, can you see that? That's mind the lighting. That's Murphy jumping out of a plane, and that was over in a place called Texel, which is in Holland, one of the islands north of Holland. And it was during them days I got the nickname Two-Tone. But anyway, the jump was fantastic. The fall was, oh man, like you couldn't get a better fall. The landing didn't go very well. Had a hard landing, broke my legs, and wheelchair bound for a couple of months. So I don't think I'll do any more skydiving. But it was a really funny story, and I ended up in hospital, and I couldn't speak Dutch. I could barely speak English, and I remember I was staying in a hospital in a place called Den Helburg, the Gemini Hospital in Den Helburg, and it was really annoying because the staff are super, don't get me wrong, but like it was really annoying because, you know, like the food menu, and they'd come in and, you know, they'd be really polite and they'd ask you what you'd want, and I hadn't a clue what they were saying, and I think I was out to say like jam. I think I knew that I asked like, what's that? Jam. Okay. So I ordered like every day for like 5 days. They thought I was weird because all I'd eat was like bread and jam. And they're like saying, this Irish fella, what's the deal? He just wants bread and jam. And then a guy came in another night, and like I tried to emulate what he had said, because like they gave him like burgers and chips, and it was just like I got my bread and jam. So yeah. Good times. So, anyway, I digress. Waffle over. These are now. You're learning more about me. Oh, the frames are bad here again. So, what we need to do... Oh, look, we have a button here for a torch. See that? Hit T for torch. Just as well we landed when we did. Our fuel is low. So, we need to do a couple of things here now. So, we are going to get the avionics off. Landing light off. Leave everything else over here on for the moment, because we're going to be towed back into a hangar. Mags off left, and our mags coming off. Sorry, mags off on the right. Yeah, and then mags off left. Cool. Bring us back to daytime, just so we can see what's going on. There we have it, guys. Back on the ground at McCarran with the A320 from Aer Lingus behind us. Maybe they got lost. So that was the quick look at McCarran International Airport, which is part of the brand new FlyTampa Las Vegas. It's a masterpiece. My thanks, as always, to everyone in the chat here tonight. Guys, thanks so much for joining. Great chat, as always. Don't forget, we're over on Discord. We can continue the discussion a little bit further. I should be back on tomorrow night. Our normal streaming service shall resume. Until then, look after each other. Keep safe. Have a good Friday tomorrow. Oh, it's Friday tomorrow. And yeah, thanks for stopping by. Right, that's it. I'm done. I've nothing else fancy to say. So, I'll catch you later, guys. Thanks for watching. See ya.